Hello, good afternoon, all of you, and I wish you a very happy Sunday. Today, in the game of brands, I'm going to discuss one more favorite brand of mine, and that is Nescafe. Well, do you know that in an year, 94 billion cups of coffee are consumed? Well, the figure itself is very exciting and it actually inspired me to know the story behind Nescafe. So, it all started long back in 1929 when Louis Deppels, the chairman of the board of directors of Nestle, received a request from the Brazilian government. They wanted the coffee to be made in a quick manner, instant coffee, what we said, and the waste had to be reduced. These were the two demands. So, first of all, primarily they thought of making solid coffee cubes on in which hot water could be added to make the instant coffee, but somehow it couldn't retain the flavor. So, at that time, the chemist Max Morgenthaler, he was on the journey and he concluded that instead of making cubes, we should make powder. He discovered that the flavor was best retained when carbohydrates were added to the product, and it was much, much, much similar to the coffee beans. It actually took 7 years of careful development, and finally, Nescafe was launched in 1938 in Switzerland in the name of Nescafe, which is a combination of two names. One, Nes comes from Nestle and cafe is coffee. So this is how Nescafe got its name. Well, by 1940 it was already supplied to more than 30 countries. But the journey ahead was little difficult because of the World War II. It was like losing out on the valuable customs from countries the brand was previously popular. But somehow the company managed to have its value. And by 1941, it was included in the emergency packages of the US soldiers. And by 1945, when the World War II ended, it was included in the care packages which was distributed to the population of Europe and Japan. And this was a key point in the Nescafe history as it boosted its demand to a completely new level. Well, as the journey went ahead, there were a lot of competitors, and in 1950, to stay ahead of the curves, a discovery was made that the flavor protecting carbohydrates could be extracted straight from the coffee beans, resulting into a much richer product. So this is, you can see how the company has kept its USP in the market and how they have been every time kept on renovating their ideas. Well, coffee is one of the product which has gone to many places which you could have not even imagined. It was a part of the journey where the Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay took it with them to the Mount Everest in 1953, which was a record breaking expedition. Well, in 1962, the tin of the Nescafe was replaced by a beautiful, classy jar, which we all know today. And in 1965, Nescafe Gold was released in Europe and it swayed away even the fuzziest of the coffee drinkers. And in 1966, the formula evolved from powder to granules. This is a complete journey for the cup of coffee that we take today every day in the morning, and I really find it interesting. Again, by 1967, this cup was introduced in Canada, and I'm so happy to have a collection of this with me even today. And let me tell you, in 1969, coffee has been a part of the journey of Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins, who went to space in Apollo 11. So they also took along the Nescafe coffee along with them. In 1980s, the TV ads were airing where Nescafe was considered to be, a product where a steaming engine was passing by the coffee fields and all that. And it was also airing in a way where couples used to mingle up over a cup of coffee, and this is how the ads of Nescafe started off. Well, in 1984, it again relaunched itself as a ready to drink canned coffee and the milk coffee blends. Isn't it surprising? Again, there is one more surprise coming up. In 1986, it started emerging with the Italian coffee, and that's how espresso and cappuccino came into the culture of Nescafe. Well, again, to retain the market share in 1990, Nescafe coffee entered into the coffee making machine industry, and there is some Dolce coffee making machine, and Dolce was a person who was involved in this coffee making machine making industry, which was followed by Nestle Milano. I'm not that sure, but this is somehow some of the, what's to say, instincts that I have collected. And by 2000, they had set their insights to the most sustainable and environmental friendly coffee brands in the world, because of which they started purchasing exclusively from local coffee growers and offering well informed agriculture advice that continues to improve the lives of thousands of those in the coffee industry. Well, this is all about Nescafe that we have early in the morning. It is one of my favorite brand, and let me tell you, coffee is the second most consumed beverage. The first one is, of course, water. Stay tuned for more such interesting stories on brands. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comment section. And in case if you find this videos to be inspiring, please sharing it with your entrepreneur friends. Thanks for watching, and keep watching my channel for more of such a Game of Brands episode. Happy weekend.